Hello, Hearties. We are back. It's Monday night recap, and look who we have. Now, this is Chris Cope, who was Geoffrey Lewis the meanie. I don't know. Did you? I think Chris, you may have seen on Instagram. I wasn't sure. I did a little Instagram story, and I played the Bad Guy song by Billie Eilish for your little like links and whatnot to let them know that you were coming on.
Yeah, I saw a bunch. I saw a couple of those over the week or two. They're pretty entertaining. I enjoyed them.
All right,
I
so
remember the "Who Are You" one at the beginning. Before I think before the first one was aired. I think it's Jeffrey's behind the bars, and it's got the song "Who Are You." It's pretty funny.
we love it. We love it. So we're excited. First of all, thank you for joining us. We won't keep you long. You could stay as long as you want, but
Right.
we usually like to have a guest come on, and since it's after you've aired or it's premiered. Now you can tell us all any juicy details, unless there's some mystery stuff coming up in the future and you can't
Yeah.
talk about. We're okay with
Okay.
that.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Sure. Before we get started, were you on When Calls the Heart before? Did you
I
sneak
was,
in?
yes, and it was season 7, I believe. I had a few lines as a desk clerk. I think it was Nathan was there with his father,
Yes.
and the other actor in the scene. I went to theater school with him, which is funny. He was also in for the day, and he
Oh,
played a policeman or something. And yeah, that was a couple years ago.
so
Yeah,
you had a mini reunion. And
yeah, and they were concerned on set because they were worried that I'd be recognized from that. So that wasn't Geoffrey Lewis. That was a completely different character.
of
So
course, yeah.
on
And
just on set, they were really wanting my hair blackened, and so I got sent back to hair about 3 times because it wasn't black enough, and which was
To
funny.
differentiate you from the other character, or
Yeah, they were worried that people would they would recognize me, so they wanted to disguise me as much as they
ah,
could. I mean, yeah, they put on black hair, and I guess that screams villain, I guess.
well, Hearties are detectives, and
Ah,
I knew,
yeah.
and many other people knew too, because they just read up on it and it's listed there. But there was no, like, you were unrecognizable when you first stepped on. I was like, oh, do I have the wrong guy? And then I'm looking and I realized, oh, they did a great job of your hairstyle,
Yeah.
your demeanor. You did a great job of,
Oh, thank you.
becoming a totally different human. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. We loved
Well,
it.
yeah, and the set really, the sets and the costumes really help you too. I mean, it's just such a gorgeous set. I mean, you walk into any one of those buildings, and the inside, the interior is just like you've gone back into time, and it really helps as an actor to put you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Kathy, what did you? I know you love his character. You said some stuff last week, like about how initially, right away, you're like, oh wow, he's been on for all of a hot 2 seconds. Do you
and
want to
and
talk about that?
he's got the character nailed. I mean,
Like you're not in the room. We're talking about you like you're not here.
oh,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
awesome.
Chris. I'm sorry, but the
No.
character Jeffrey is just. I think Sue described him last night, and it gave me kind of a whole new dimension because I felt a little sorry for him by the time
Oh, good, good,
everything was over. But
good.
that's what I'm talking about. There's so many dimensions. I was seeing desperation, fear, arrogance, intimidation, and the bitterness. But it was
Yeah.
great that she had that line of dialogue because it gave me perspective on why all of
Right.
that is coming out at him. I mean, good Lord, you abandon a wife and you're going after this one and
Yeah.
you're forging documents and but there's a reason. There's a
Yeah.
reason for it. And you probably can't say anything or don't want to if you don't, but you could wink or something. I hope we haven't seen the last of Jeffrey.
I know as much as you guys. I
Okay.
hope not either. I would be thrilled to be asked back to that show. I love playing that character, and it's such a fun character to play. One thing is that when you play characters who are bad or whatever, as an actor, not try not to judge the character. I mean, I think Geoffrey really was in love with Mei Su, and I don't think he's been all that successful in his life, and I think he's really unhappy. And
Yeah.
I remember reading somewhere that his father was a doctor, and he wanted to become a doctor, and he didn't have the stuff for it, and so he in his own mind he was probably a bit of a failure, and then he went in to become in the pharmacy, and yeah, he met May and he fell deeply in love, and in his mind, they were in love, and
Yeah.
she made him happy, and I think these things in these characters, that they're easy to point at them and go, they're bad, but these things that are in him, or what, they're in everybody, and desperation and bitterness and all that. But what's fun to play with these characters, that you get to express those parts of yourself that you can't really in life, because it's not acceptable, really.
Right.
I actually created backstory for you, or for
you did?
because
Nice.
I figured he left his wife or abandoned his wife because he was with her during the time he thought he could become a doctor. And when he
Okay.
felt that was a reflection of his failure, and he couldn't deal with it, so he left her. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's great. I like it. I love it.
You can use it.
I'm going to use it. Yeah.
And then I was thinking, how much background did they give you on the character? Did they say much, or did you kind of go with it yourself?
I remember in the audition, it gives you a character breakdown, and it did have those things. He's from Chicago, and I think, is that where you're from?
Yes.
Is that where you guys are now, Chicago?
Yeah, I'm from New Jersey. She's from Chicago.
I'm from Chicago. I'm a little outside of Chicago right now, but my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember what it said. It gave that he's pharmacist, and May's relationship to him, and anytime it gives you direction, like I was saying before, about personality traits like arrogant or whatever, that is not trying to play it, but to understand why he is that way. And I got a pretty good sense of it from that character breakdown, and reading the script, and I remember I had a comment, like somebody on the set, I won't say who, but after reading the episode, where like this guy belongs in a mental hospital. Like, what is going on?
You could tell us who.
No, but it's funny. It's funny because you can kind of understand see that, but
well, he kind of did have some mental issues. He did.
Yeah. What's the word? Starts with a D. Delusional. Yeah.
Created the whole marriage thing, but Hope Valley is. I don't know if you follow the storyline for any length of time, Chris, and I know that Roxanne knows this. Hope Valley is known for redeeming characters.
Yes.
We've got several of them over the years where they've come in and you would have sworn, oh my gosh, there's no way I will ever like this character. Yeah. And you end up loving them because there's been a redemption story there. So,
well, that would be fantastic. Yeah, that would be great.
So season 10, I absolutely know we're getting a season 10. You could definitely come back. We'll just have to campaign. And
I would. Let's get the pickets started. I'll be out there. I'll dye my hair black and carry the signs.
All right. Yeah. Now, I had a couple of questions. I was wondering, like, how much, like, you knew you had to sit on the have coffee or whatever it was, and you were sitting on the little veranda part of Abigail's and give those looks across the way and whatnot. Like, how much direction are you getting? Like, or do they tell you have to sit in a chair and that's it, and you have to come up with it yourself, or are they telling you what to look and how to look?
No, I didn't really get direction in that scene. I remember that was towards the end, I think, of the I don't know, towards the end of, and by the way, I haven't seen the latest episode. I don't have cable, so I haven't seen it yet. I've seen the first one. I've seen episode 7, but I haven't seen 8. But I know the scene you're referring to.
It's 7. We're talking about, no, 8. We're talking about 8. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. On the veranda there, I remember. I remember that Nathan is arriving, and I'm sort of taunting him, in the episode, and I think I'm getting a kick out of doing it to some degree. And no, I just remember thinking about the type of who he shows himself to be. I don't know if it was left in or not, but I remember when it was on me, I was before the breakfast had come. I had the espresso or whatever, and then I remember I was polishing my utensil with a napkin. It's just something that I wouldn't do, but he's sort of I don't know if he's upper class, but I think he's well brought up,
Yes.
and he
Yeah.
thinks of himself that way. So it's his little character mannerisms that I really enjoyed investigating in this part, and I had a lot of time to sort of prepare for it. So I came up with certain behaviorisms, if you will, and
Yeah.
like I said, I don't know if it's in the episode, but and just the way that he sips his coffee and stuff like
Yes.
that.
I even think about how you just arrived. First of all, I don't know if it was cut out or not. How did Geoffrey get there? Did you come by carriage?
That's right. Yeah, it was never said. I did wonder about that. I in my mind it was a train, but
Okay.
it's a long horse ride.
Yeah.
But
They
yeah,
still could do it, but not the average person.
yeah, I know he's a pharmacist. I don't know how much on the horses he goes, but no, in my mind it was like a first class railway carriage, and
And then the other part that I like that I think for me gave me the idea of that your family, at least, maybe that's why you were bratty. Maybe you were kind of catered to, and then your parents had expectations like, be a doctor, whatever, was how you were telling the local law enforcement what they had to do. Like you open up the door and you're pointing and you're saying what you have to do. And we're like, oh, look at this little arrogant man, right?
I loved it. I loved going in there and just knowing that I need to tear up the town, and that's this very well-tempered place. I get to go in there and just like a tornado and just throw everything on its head. And I remember I think his family has connections with politicians.
Yes.
And,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does have that sway, and he'll use it, if he has to, and he does, and he creates as much problems as is in his power to do so, to get what he wants.
Yeah.
I caught that reference to Mayor William Hale Thompson called because Geoffrey's family called him. He was like the last Republican mayor of Chicago, and one of the most corrupt mayors.
Oh, wow.
And so it just like, oh, there's that connection. So your family or Geoffrey's family has that connection. And also it mentioned that he had just been reelected, which, I'm always like, what time period is this? That was definitely 1919. So that just confirmed the time period. So they give you little throwaway lines, and they give you so much information and depth. And just last thing I'm going to say, and I'll let some of the other participants. But when I said that Geoffrey showed desperation, one of the things that really drove that home to me, there's a scene where the character is looking in the pharmacy, just kind of like just a glimpse. Can I just get a glimpse of her?
Right.
And I felt so bad. I mean,
the
character is, I felt really bad. It's like, oh my gosh, he's used to this. So masterful job that you did with that character.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
How long were you on set? Like how many days did it take?
How many days did I have?
It was
at least 4.
Okay.
At least 4. It might have been 5, something like that.
Yeah, like about a week of time.
Yeah. So I'm basically going back and forth between day one, episode, because I think in the first episode 7, I think I'm wearing the same thing, and then sort of jumping back and forth between those 2 costumes.
Because I know they do them in blocks, so 7 and 8 work together.
Yeah, and Peter DeLuise directed 7 and 8, and so I think that might have something to do with the director in the blocks, and I don't know.
There was a cute picture of you and Amanda, and I don't know if Kevin was in it. I think he was, and also Peter, and they, he was taking a selfie, and he said, although your character was, not nice, you were lovely.
I know. I have that on my Instagram. Yeah. It's
Oh,
very nice.
that's
Yeah.
cute.
It was a
Good.
blast working with Peter. So open to suggestions and so creative, and
Yes.
it was an absolute blessing as an actor to work with him.
Are you here, Peter? If you're here, Peter, you're getting something. Sometimes he pops in. That's
is that
what I'm
right?
not joking. He does.
Okay.
Not in here. He'll pop in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that's what everyone says. They all say lovely things.
Yeah.
Before you go, Chris, and we
Yeah.
hope you get to come back. But
Yeah.
before you go, I don't know what device you're on and what you can see, but there's like a comment section, and our viewers
Chat
are
with
commenting.
everyone?
Yes. And
Okay.
I highlighted one that I can actually show up here because it's kind of cool. Kathy found it right away. This was early on. Can you see it? Do you see what Janice is saying?
That's hilarious. Yeah.
I don't know if
That's really
anyone
funny.
has any questions. What's Margaret say?
Thank
And
you.
she says, I actually think when she found out he was already married that she should have smacked him.
She had some reasons to,
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
There's one here from Gigi at 8:17 that's pretty interesting.
What is it? Geoffrey probably isn't this one.
Yeah.
Aw.
There you go.
Yeah. And that's Peter is here.
Hey.
Love.
That's right.
He's
Yeah.
showing you love. He'd show you some love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I forgot about that. And that's true.
Yeah.
All those little tiny things, like you said, like that you were polishing your fork or spoon or whatever, that kind of thing. Yeah.
And Peter, you're there. It was great working with you. So creative and open to all kinds of suggestions. And I loved all the movie references. I think on the first day, he said I looked like, I don't know who he was. It was some cowboy actor from the 60s from a TV show or something. And I had to research it when I got home. And it was,
That's cute. That's good. Well, you did a really good job. I mean, when you think about it, you're just not just, I don't mean it that way, but you come in for like we said, you're on for seconds, and we already love to hate you last week. And then this past Sunday, you were like really creepy, but we also felt for you. So you made us go through a whole range of emotions.
That's great. That's great. That's
job,
great to hear.
Chris.
That's good. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's nice to hear.
Good. What's Peter saying?
That's right. Robert Conrad. That was the actor that Peter was saying. Robert Conrad. Wild West.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. It was very nice to meet you all.
All right. Have a good night. Come back to join us, and we hope we see Geoffrey again.
Okay. Yes. I hope so too.
We're going to root for you. Like we said, we're going to root for you.
We'll go pick it. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Bye. Bye-bye. All right. It's just us, the two of us now. He was fabulous. I'm so happy that he joined. What's Peter saying? The storyline reminds me of the sleep. Oh, yes. Yes, it does.
Except she didn't have to.
Well, that's true. But this is Hope Valley, okay? This is, different time frame. But it does, because he was obsessed with her, and he was creepy and in a quiet kind of way,
And someone of lesser resolve than Nathan.
Yes.
They might have just sent her on off with him.
Right. So are we ready to dive in? Because it looks like everybody's so excited about this episode. This episode was so
good. Was too. I was very excited about it. I've watched it like multiple times. I won't go into detail. That's not important. Let's just say more than once.
Were you a little obsessed? I watched it multiple times.
Just a little bit.
All right. So where do you want to start? You can start, Miss Kathy. You go first.
Well, I just have to make one comment. Lee's bangs. I'm going to leave it there.
Who's what?
Lee's bangs. That's all I have to say. I'm not going to go any further with that. I'm going to leave it there.
And my aunt said to me today at dinner, she said, what happened to his hair? I said, it's supposed to look like he was in character. She goes, I just couldn't get beyond it.
And it took me like several minutes before I finally figured out, because someone had posted Jim Carrey. I think someone from the show had posted a picture of Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber, and it was a clue to the show. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. Because that's exactly who he looked like. So
I think Janine Marie may have done something like that. I forget. Was it Janine? She always does wonderful things like that. Okay, go ahead. Dive in. I'm ready.
So my first comment is, after watching, is what I just said. I hope Geoffrey returns to Hope Valley, if he's actually really gone. We have another kiss to add to our list. This is the What the Heck kiss. Loved it, loved it. They are acting like an old married couple, teasing each other, and I'm just loving every minute of it. And the giggle, I was like, oh my gosh, could these two be cuter?
You know what I love about their storyline? So I know the writing's a little different this season, and they're telling a longer story, little piece at a time. But what I love is, if you just pay attention to what's happening with Elizabeth and Lucas, every episode there's a more to their storyline. Like, it's cohesive. It's going, yes. I mean, it also involves many other things, and we have to pay attention because there's some little hints that have been repeating themselves. Like, if I'm in my literature class, we call them again and agains, things that keep coming up as little signs to something bigger. But I love their storyline, and I love how they were teasing each other.
Isn't that great?
Yes.
Yep.
And I was saying to Kathy when we were in the studio before we went live, I was like, I wonder if Chris knew that she was going to give him that big smooch, or did they purposely not tell him so he could react? But the two of them are such exceptional actors. What you, Kathy, you thought it was definitely choreographed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they do that so well. I have no idea what the real story is there.
Right. I love it. I love it. The director might know, but we don't.
Right.
Go ahead. So what else?
I'm hearing, I wish they kind of get some consistency with Misu or Mesu, because I keep hearing Misu, and I keep hearing May, and it's like, which way are we going here, folks? So that was just kind of something I noticed is inconsistent. That different characters pronounce her name differently.
Okay.
Misu. Nathan says me or Misu or something closer to that. And the other characters are saying May.
Oh, well, we'll have to figure. I'll have to ask Amanda. I'll ask Amanda. She'll tell me.
I'm getting used to I call him New Nathan, and I'm loving him. He's still snarky, but now it's cute to me. I mean, he did the little business on the porch with Lucas and Elizabeth, where he very seriously, love isn't something to be forced. Something to be given. And they go, oh, that is so cute and so true. Yeah, I thought so too when I read it on the window.
I know. And then
they go look at it, and then you think back to, actually, that's a quote from when Lucas dumped her at the end of, or close to the end of season 8. And I have no idea how that ended up on the little thing on the window. But yeah, I just thought he has been, he was just charming. I thought he's been charming in the episode last night.
The whole conversation that the three of them had was hilarious to me, because it could have been awkward, but it was not. It was funny.
Yeah.
And all of them, they're so good at what they do. I love how they're standing there, the two of them, and they're like looking at him, and he's being all like mushy, and they're kind of like, their faces are kind of like, like they don't know, like, that it's pouring out of him, and he's saying all that. Then he even talks about the baby. Remember, he talked about she wanted Allie wants him to get married, right? And because she wants a baby brother,
or baby sister. Yeah.
And then he looks right at the two of them, like, I know. So apparently they rehearsed the what the heck kiss a lot. Okay. To get it just right, I guess.
It worked. However they got there, it definitely worked.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. You had suggested, and you were correct, Miss Kathy, you had suggested that we were going to see, as Nathan was healing with his head injury, and he's been a little different, but we were going to see him really get back to, like, meaning business because of what was happening with Mesu. And he did, didn't he? He did. And I love,
he took progress in another relationship too.
Yes.
They took another step in the very slow journey to Lucas and Nathan, their journey toward BFF-hood. They do that almost in every episode this season. They have just a moment where they kind of connect and, have a bit of dialogue and kind of either get snarky with each other or understand each other. But I'm seeing it happen that they are getting closer and closer.
And one of the things that I liked, which is in keeping with his character, is when Elizabeth came in and said, "You knew about May Sue, and he's like, "Yeah, because it wasn't really my story to tell." But she then had to go out and tell Nathan, and Nathan's like, "He told you." She goes, "No, he didn't. I heard it from somewhere else 1st." And I like that because she can't fault him for that, because he's keeping a secret that wasn't really something that would hurt her. It really wasn't her business. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's just another reflection of his character and keeping with his character, which is nice. I like that.
It came up that they did choreograph the What the Heck Kiss. That probably answers the question I was going to bring up, because I thought it could have been spontaneous when they're in the school and after Elizabeth comes back and he's like a little boy, parading for his crush, and he's like, "Look at this," and he does the business with the
it makes it roll up his arm,
and he just looks so proud of himself. And I was wondering, did she expect that? And I guess she did. I guess everything on the show, they don't really
wonderful.
bad living. Yeah.
I love it. What do you think about May Sue and Nathan? What do you think's what's happening with that?
I see chemistry there. I can easily see May Sue being more, let's get this show on the road. But I can also see Nathan being very, very cautious at this point, because he's been burnt, and she came with a little drama. They've got that resolved now, or so we think. So I can see him being a little more cautious about opening up his heart. But I see Allie playing a big role in maybe getting him moving a little bit in that direction. I thought they were just adorable physically when she hugged him, because she's so petite.
Yeah.
And they just seemed to fit. And he thought about it for a minute or a second, and then he just kind of reached up and he held her back. And but then she pulled back and she's like, "Thank you." And so it wasn't like I'm throwing myself at him romantically. It was more like,
thank you.
Thank you for saving me. I trust you. But I do think it carried them forward in their relationship.
Amanda had posted, I think on Twitter, that her head bumped his chin, I guess. Like she knocked into him when they were doing that whole thing. Did you see the part when he was sitting with her, he was talking with her, and she was in the jail, and she sits up to lean into him and talk to him, and he kind of looks at her, but then he leans back. I was wondering if it was just like a chemistry kind of thing, or if he was thinking, as if they're real, or was he thinking she wanted to kiss him? You know what I mean? Like she was a little bit too close for his face, and he backed up, but not in a bad way, just a kind of way. I may have been watching a little bit too much Bridgerton. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I just saw that. I thought it was cute. Go ahead. I was hoping.
I was going to give the writers, I think it's the writers who get the credit for this, but they had a little throwaway scene toward the end in the saloon during the Hanukkah thing. Ned had just finished with explaining the candles. And as he was leaving, he stopped and he gave each of the kids what, I don't know if anyone else knew what it was, but it was coins. And that's part of the Hanukkah ritual, that you give the children either chocolate coins or real coins.
Yes.
And they didn't say anything about it. They didn't make a big deal out of it. It was just there. And I just thought that was lovely that they showed the tradition, even though it wasn't necessary. I mean, he probably could have walked off with a line of dialogue or something, but I just thought that was a lovely moment.
Yes. All of it is, all the little details, if you pay attention. And even though you don't have to point out at every little thing, that's what makes it, believable. They're especially the set directors. They're always all the little tiny details.
That's it. Yep.
In a room, and you look around and you pay attention, even in the jail, all the funny things that they might post up that, sometimes are other real people's pictures on there, but still they're of hints of what's to come or what can happen. I love it. I mean, Lucas's office, I must have studied that for how long? All summer long, because I was insane for content and material, right?
And then my
Um,
last thing was, again, toward the end, Mike Hickam goes
oh God, I
and
love him.
asks Faith, "Can I accompany, or will you accompany me to church?" I'm like, what the heck? Is that a date? I mean, what goes on? Where is
But
this coming from?
do you know how he has a friendship with Fiona? And I was thinking it made sense that he was, one of 100,000 sisters, and that's why he related, would get opinions from females. He's used to that. I love all of that continuity. But I was thinking that he, giggled and had kind of a bumbling kind of relationship a little bit with with Fiona at first, and then a little tiny bit at first with Faith. But now he's like coming into his own. He's, the mayor. He's getting a little more self-confident. And I loved how he was like, right, bold, join me. And she just looks up and she's like, oh, yes, of course, I'm going to
Yeah.
walk with you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because I'm going to get that X-ray machine out of you if it takes me forever.
I'll sit with you in church 5 weeks in a row if I can have my X-ray machine.
So what were
Speaking of which,
your thoughts? Yeah.
how do you think she's there? Pete, what's Peter saying? Oh, maybe Kiss was scripted with Nathan. Okay. What about the whole point with the X-ray machine? How do you think they're going to get an X-ray machine? Because they keep talking about it. Okay. What do you
I think
think?
it's definitely going to have to do with Bill,
Yeah.
and maybe something to do with Bill desperately needs it, and so they have to get one. I think Hickam is going to loosen up a little bit um, about getting it, and maybe the town chips in part, and part of it comes from Faith's practice. I don't know, but they couldn't be more. Something is going on with Bill.
Right.
It requires an X-ray, and I don't know if they're going to have a trip to Union City or just bring it in.
Well, maybe what she needs is because she put up her own a shingle or whatever. She put up her own little sign. Now it's not really the town and it's her herself. It's not like she's rolling in the dough. Do you know what I mean? So
Sure.
maybe Bill will help pay for it or something. But I don't know. Somehow, some
Yeah,
way.
I'm still confused with that whole how that works. I mean, if she had left Faith Carson, is it Carter? Faith Carson, no, Carter, MD, and infirmary. I mean, plenty of doctors have their own offices, and then there's a clinic for the
Right.
town as well. I mean, that's a compromise they could do. I don't know why it has to be one or the other.
Well, maybe it won't be. Who knows? Like
Yeah.
this is something we'll just have to keep our eye out for.
And
But
maybe everybody pitches in because it's Bill who needs it. Who
right.
I don't know.
But I also like the idea, yeah, X-ray machines were lethal back then. Peter was saying that's true, they were. I like the idea though that when Mike was saying to her, I started here, which is true. He really did as an actor. I started here in the mercantile. I started here with Lee. I started over here with, Henry, and now here I am. And Faith, you think about Faith, she started as, a nurse. Actually, she really wasn't even she was a nurse, and then she also came to help Henry. Remember, like Henry was being rehabilitated, she was
Yep.
helping him. She winds up staying, and then of course the whole runs it on her own. Then the doctor Paul Green comes in, and then she becomes a doctor. So her story's been evolving, and I'm excited to see how it ends, like where it goes with her. I remember when I had Andrea on and she was talking, she said it was like a year, it was like about growth and growing and finding self-confidence for Faith. So I'm seeing that, come along. I think if there's going to be some scary stuff coming up, maybe she has something important that she has to do. You know what I mean? Not necessarily a surgery, but she already helped save, Nathan's life. Maybe it's something along those lines. I don't know. I'm just eager to see it because she's an important character for like a role model for the women. And I, she's like one of my favorite characters. So I'm excited to see like where it's going. In my opinion, it's going somewhere good. Something.
It seems like the him asking her to church, the church is becoming more prominent again.
Thank
Like
you.
it hasn't been since I think since Pastor Frank.
Yeah, because they haven't had a pastor.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I
Or
love
a
that.
permanent one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love what he does. I remember when Viv was on and someone had asked, he was so natural of him, did he have that kind of background? And remember what I don't know if you knew that. He shared with us that he did, like, his father, I think he told a story about him reading the Bible or learning to read with the Bible, and he grew up like that. So he has like a background it's probably why it fits so easily for him. He does a great job. I love their characters. Those two. Do you know what I loved? They made a big decision, and before they made the big decision, you saw them holding hands and praying about it.
Yeah.
And I have very good friends. She is a lovely woman, and her husband is a pastor of a church, and she has her own things that she does too. But they're very much like that. Any big decision that they're about to make, they stop right on that spot and they pray together. And I'm like, oh, this is like so real. This is a real thing. I liked it.
It is. Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of stuff Peter is saying. We'll look at that in a minute. I wanted to talk a little bit about Rosemary and Lee. They're amazing, and I feel like they were trying to figure out how to work together and get along. Although we saw them really trying. I love the scene. Remember with the 2 chairs that he had crafted for her,
making time for each other personally.
Okay, I feel like they were like they're themselves again.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like they're themselves, and I can't let go that they're constantly making reference to children with them when they were having that very open conversation of, oh, you would have been a great mom, you would have been a great dad on their way to church so many episodes back.
Mm-hmm.
And then now with the trick-or-treaters with the kids. And then the sticky reference when she was, like kids are sticky. We can't ignore that. So something wonderful is coming. We don't know what. What do you think it's going to be? What do you think?
I'm hoping that they're going to bless them with a child, and that she discovers it just in a complete. There's a scene, not a scene. There is a picture that's going around, and I don't know what episode it was from. I don't know if the scene has happened yet and I just missed it, but it's an over-the-shoulder scene with Elizabeth hugging Rosemary. You don't see Rosemary's face, you see Elizabeth's, and Elizabeth just looks ecstatic. And I remember when I saw that, I was thinking, I don't think this is about anything going on with Elizabeth. I think she's ecstatic for her friend.
Yes.
And
yes.
maybe
tears in her eyes. Yeah.
Rosemary shared that kind of news with her. Yes. And it's interesting. I had a friend over for the weekend who it's our new pastor's wife. And we were talking, and it turns out she's a Heartie. And so she and her daughter came over, and I was playing, because I have all the seasons, I was playing some of the early seasons. And it's one where Rosemary and Lee were about to get married. And she was talking about kids. Oh no, I never would want, kids. They're sticky and icky and no way. And to talk about evolution and transition.
Sure.
How far they have come in their relationship and in their marriage and in adulthood.
Yeah. And I know how about when they're taking the pictures, everybody, and there's, the pictures and the whole montage and how they did it was amazing. That was fabulous. And then they're playing with the toys to get them to smile. Highland, little Jack was amazing in that chair.
He was having a blast.
Everything that he did and said and all the cute little stuff that he did, he has wonderful chemistry with Chris. Like those two are.
So I don't know if this is a question, if Peter's still around, if he can answer it. Does Highland call Chris Buddy off screen? Is that how you get him to always address him with such enthusiasm? Hi, buddy. I just love that.
Peter's saying, I'm sorry, he'll answer your question. I'm sure there's a little bit of a delay. He was saying the photo montage was not scripted. Apparently there was quite a few things that were not scripted. I thought somebody sent me, okay, Kath. All right. Somebody sent me a private message. I see what they're saying. I'm going to get there. Which is cool. The photo montage was not scripted. It was amazing. It was my favorite part. It kind of made me feel like a little like teary-eyed and I don't know, it just was beautiful.
Peter said that he was trying to relay what it's like to photograph kids, trying to get him to sit still and
yes,
and pose.
Yes, and he said yes. Hi, buddy. Okay, all right. So that's cute and that's helpful because he is a smart little guy. He really is, but he's still a little guy. Do you know what I mean? So he's doing fabulously. What a he's a true asset to the show. He's amazing.
Talk about chemistry.
Yes. I mean, they just fit, like they all fit together. Before we answer questions and see what's in the chat here, I wanted to like talk a little bit about Elizabeth's storyline by herself. So they've been hinting, like I remember in the beginning, she was saying, when are the other people coming for the foundry so that the school would enlarge, or not enlarge, not the school, but the class roster would enlarge, right? And then she falls under that whole thing with she can't be independent. She has to join the district. And then there was a notice with the books needed by someone. And so she came up with the whole book wagon idea, right?
Mhm.
And then again, the book wagon idea last night. And then we meet the woman who's been sort of running her own little school out somewhere, because we can't forget that Hope Valley has like that central location, but there are the outskirts too.
Right.
Times we would get to see it, like Robert's family lives out there. Remember, they were fighting over the land and where it ended and started. And then I also remember that Lee came with those burrs on his back and he was out stomping and he was trying to go and campaign and he was out there, outskirts. So they don't let us forget that. And I'm wondering if there's going to be more to that this year. Like maybe she would take, I forget what her name was. Albers?
Mary Albers. Yeah.
Okay. She would be taking on this, like a school for out there, which would then mean not all of them had to go into the little schoolhouse with her, Elizabeth, and then she could keep, them independent and not have to join the Valley. I don't know. These are just, something's going to come about that.
Yeah, my thought was, with all these people coming in and they're introducing this character who's also a teacher, I don't know. I think that they'll have some interaction with new people, for a while. And I don't know. I don't know if these new people are a spinoff or they're gonna go join some other existing show. But I could easily see that they're setting up just a whole nother
something, right?
Yeah,
I really do think it has a lot to do with Elizabeth's storyline. And I love that Anna is going to be renting a room and working in the cafe. I love that like Robert, he does run around and does his thing, and now Anna is going to be, I love that. And she reminds me of like an Elizabeth, you know what I mean? Going out on her own and trying her. Oh, I love it. I love watching them grow up. Peter says, my son calls his grandfather Buddy. I remember that. That's where it comes from, after Chris said it first as an ad lib, and then it just stuck. Okay, that's cute. They have a really good, they have great chemistry, them. Okay, so let's see. We've got all kinds of wonderfulness in this chat here. I'm just going to move up a little and say, let's see. What are we missing? Anybody? Are we missing something that you want us to address? What's this say here? Discretionary funds of the town, so maybe they could use them for the X-ray machine if it is greatly needed. Starla, that's true. She's talking about the money that they have and what Mike had used it for, and they're saying they're wondering if they could use it for the X-ray.
I bet you Lucas pitches in too.
Pardon me?
I bet Lucas pitches in.
He could.
Funds are needed. He seems to be very generous that way.
Peter, talk Chris into trimming his beard more closely. He looks so good in his new movie. Those dimples are hidden by his heavy beard. Oh my goodness. Poor Chris. Chris is handsome no matter what he does. He's always a handsome man. He's just handsome because his personality is adorable. What's this say? Yes, Faith was a nurse from season 1. Yep, when she was in Hamilton, when she took care of Jack. I remember that. And then when she comes back into, she gets to Hope Valley because of Henry, and they needed a nurse, and she winds up staying, which is great. I just love her storyline. I love it.
Wasn't there a little tension when she first came to town that Elizabeth was a little jealous of her because she thought maybe she came to town to pursue Jack?
Yeah.
I thought I remembered that.
Margie wanted to know why didn't Faith tape up his ribs if she thought he might have a broken one. Well, because first of all, it was found accidentally by by Molly, and Molly said that wasn't there the other day. What happened? And then he jumped off the table and he was getting out the door. They could barely look at his chest and get it. Like because he's a pain in the neck. That's Bill, right?
Well, pain in the rib, as the case may be.
Yeah. Start pain in the rib. That's cute. So I was saying, I think Mike and Faith are cute together. I can see compatibility with mutual support without competition. It's true. I mean, not that we have to pair up every soul, but I do love them together. And you know what? I didn't see that coming. I love when I'm surprised.
Yeah, that just came out of nowhere.
I didn't see that at all. Hello, Miss Janine Marie. I really like Faith this year. So do I. And I was excited when I was talking to Andrea to see where her character was going. Like, I like it because she has her hand in a lot of different storylines because she's the nurse, you know, like she gave words of encouragement to Lucas when he was taking care of little Jack. And she's actually like kind of had words of encouragement for Molly because Molly was all over the place on what she was trying to do and be, you know, and now she's over there helping out Mike. I mean, and Bill and May Sue. I mean, I love it. She's great.
Hey, I can't believe you didn't mention, and I didn't mention it either.
What?
Bill hopped up on the cold syrup.
How did we forget that?
I have not laughed that hard in a while.
He was so good.
My fiance, my ex-wife came to town, and she was trying to get me back too. And he just went through the whole litany of his miseries. Oh my!
That was so well scripted.
Where's my cough syrup? I need some more.
Oh my gosh. And I also think, wait a minute, when with his April Fools, nobody could figure out what April Fools it was. And then at the end, the April Fools there was no April Fools. He was going to surprise them with the Christmas tree, which is so nice. I know. And
I'm still trying to figure out who in town gives everyone the highlights in their hair. But they're doing a great job.
I know. Let's see. Deb is saying it is so great to see the humor this season, to see the main character smiling and happy is so great. Chris has grown as an actor and the relationship between Elizabeth and Lucas is so believable. You know what, Deb? That's because they are exceptional actors and they are fantastic together. And all of us who, you know, were like heartbroken and devastated, and I could still hear her cry. She did it so well when Jack died. Like she went down on her knees, and I was like, "Oh my god!" You know. And I am loving these two together, and they're wonderful together. They're wonderful.
They have fantabulous chemistry.
Yes,
and their acting styles complement each other. And apparently, they have a great working relationship because I know Erin has talked about the fact that. For that last scene in season 8, the final episode, they actually worked on that. They talked it through. How would they approach each other? How would they kiss each other? And to me, that's just the mark of, you know, good actors. And that's why they're able to sell it so well to us.
They are. They're very good actors. Thanks for all. Oh, she's telling Peter, thanks for all the info. Because I think he had said that using the dreidel was not scripted. It was something that was improv. And the let's eat was also something that I guess Highland just said on his own, and they kept it, which I love. Faith asked Mike for an x-ray. Yes, and he turned her down. Yes, we know. We remember that. And we're still wondering. Then she went to May Sue and was hoping May Sue, when she found out May Sue was on the council, she was hoping she could sway May Sue. And May Sue's like, no, it doesn't sound. So that's why I'm thinking somehow, some way, something is going
to break.
Yeah. I knew that Highland was about 3 months younger than the Tyler. Yeah, they're pretty close in age. Yeah. They're saying yes that Chris is handsome inside and out. He is. He's a cutie patootie. Yeah, I know. Mike explained to Faith that she now had a private clinic. Yep, not owned by the mining company. Yes, I know.
She's got to start charging people to come see her. That's my view. Oh, you don't want to pony up anything? Let's start seeing those copays.
Oh, goodness gracious, Chicago girl.
Chickens. Well, Goose is a guitarist as well as an accordionist, if that's a word.
Wait a minute. Why are we missing that? There was so much. This was, first of all, Peter, you're here. I don't know if you're here. I am telling you that the episode that you wrote, I didn't even realize he wrote it. And then I'm like, wait a minute, he wrote this. Oh my gosh, that episode was fantastic. I loved it. I love this one too. This one is fantastic. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What
I
were
was
you
going
going
to say Gustav and
Yeah.
Lucas cousins.
Yeah.
I mean, is that something organic to the story, or was it kind of a throwaway line? Or
I don't know.
I'd love to know where that came from. And
they took a family photo together. I loved all that.
Like, come on, take it.
That must have been so much fun for the actors. And I loved I loved how May Sue got in with Nathan and
Allie went and grabbed us. That's a sure sign. This is happening because Allie wants it to happen. So
I know. Now, I think I was starting to say one thing and then I got sidetracked. Oh, what about him playing the accordion every 2 minutes? He's everywhere now. You see him in the background. That tickles me. Like he's out of the kitchen and
he always looks so morose. He just doesn't look happy. Let's cheer this guy up.
He's funny.
Yeah.
Who came up with the scene of Bill in the jail? Don't tell him I'm in jail. Cracked me
John
up.
Tinker wrote that. Peter just said John Tinker wrote that scene.
Oh, John Tinker's, well, we know him. He's like Mr. Talented himself. My gosh.
Peter said, Gustav is Lucas's cousin. Why else would he keep Gustav around? That sounds
true, because Gustav is like a pain in the neck. The two of them are always arguing, sort of, and then he's still around. So, okay. Oh gosh. I was getting sidetracked. I wanted to tell you something that was I don't remember. You brought it up and I forgot, but that's okay. There was just so much in here. I'm sure we're missing
there
things.
was a lot to unpack in that episode. It was just,
amazing.
Yeah, you didn't want to turn away.
Oh yeah, this is when she was wondering if he actually played it, or if you know how like they could have him doing the motions and the music. They bring in. However they do that. I don't know the technical term, but Andrea explained it to us one day. That episode was the best yet. There was so much to digest. It was hard to tweet and watch too. Oh, this is why I always watch live. And then I also record and then I watch about 42 times.
Yeah, the same here.
Okay, Linda says, what was meant when Nathan said, how is it that you think you know someone and, I remember that. This is when he was having that special conversation with her.
Yep.
And what do you think?
I took it as a reference to him thinking that he had a shot with Elizabeth, that he thought that she was returning his feelings.
That's
how I read it.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought too. Yeah. He has a crush on Elizabeth. That's true. He does. Yeah. Oh, he does not play the accordion, but he fakes it well. Thank you, Peter. He's telling all the secrets. Oh, gosh.
So that's why Gustav looks morose all the time. First of all, this is my first cousin, and look at him and look at me. And he owns the saloon, and I'm the cook, and I have a crush on Elizabeth, and he's, it's his girl. I can see where he'd be a little bitter, too.
I know. I completely love this episode. You're with us, too. Kay says, I'll try asking this again. I did see it, Kay, and I'm sorry I didn't address it. Did Lucas write the wording in the heart that was in the window? A lot of people were wondering. You actually mean, did Chris write it you were trying to analyze his handwriting? I don't know. The set directors always come up with all kinds of little tidbits. So, and they have a sense of humor too. So I don't know. That's something Peter would have to answer. I don't know if he heard it or saw it. This was the best episode so far. No, it's a tie. It's a tie with the other episode that I liked. Okay, here you go. Lucas did not write the wording in the heart on the window. Okay, thank you, Peter. This was cute too. Love the mistletoe and the kiss with the Yost. Oh my gosh, I love them. Like they're the couple you didn't know you needed. Like really, like I didn't know that I needed those two lovelies to be together. They're like hilarious.
Oh, did you see their picture? When you say prunes and Florence goes, prunes. And she's like, I'm not smiling. Don't even go there. It's not happening. And I thought this was hysterical.
Retta's amazing. I just watched her in another movie And I remember when I was chatting with her, she said something like the character's name, I think, is Maxine. And she was like, Maxine just knows what she wants, right? And so I'm watching and I'm thinking, am I going to feel like it's because obviously so does Florence. She knows what she wants. So I'm going to say, I was like, is this a modern day Florence? But it wasn't. She was like different, and she had a nice soft side to her in the end too. But I'm like, wow, Loretta, look at you go! Like you're good.
One of the things that I absolutely adore about this series is there's a thread of history that has gone through from day one practically all the way up till now. And the two examples that pop into my head are Mike Hickam, who has been there. I don't remember if he's been since the very first episode.
Yes, he
but
has.
he's been in there, and we've watched his character just progress to kind of a little side character to mayor of the town. And what really impresses me is Molly and Florence's friendship. They have been besties since the beginning, and nothing breaks those two up. And they just continue to show how close they are. I mean, they have that with other characters too, but I love how they don't drop the history of Hope Valley. And I think that's one of the reasons that we viewers are so caught up in it, because it's like family. It's like watching family, and life goes on, time marches on. We can see the progression of history, but these people are the same. Does that make sense, or am I rambling?
Yes, no, and they're agreeing with you. Margie's saying that she agrees with you. Do you know what was interesting? Next week, I'm excited. Allie Devereaux is coming on, and she's going to talk about her scene, because she wrote episode 9. So then it'll have aired. Now we could like pick her brain. And she's a doll, and she's coming on, and she has something. Like, she's very detail oriented, and she has all these notes like in a binder or something or whatever. So I call it a binder as a teacher somewhere, where if it's someone's birthday, it's written down. If it's, someone said that they don't like this kind of food, it's written down. You're allergic to this, it's written down.
I think they call it the Bible.
Well, and she's the keeper of all those details, which is important. I have read, I have watched series for years, and sometimes they forget that. And that annoys me, because I don't forget it, because I've fallen in love with the character. And I'm like, wait a minute, why are you eating strawberries? You're allergic to strawberries. Somebody forgot along the way, and they never forget anything along the way.
Yeah.
Yes, Allie Devereaux is amazing. She's a wonderfully gifted writer, and she's a Heartie at heart. She is. And when I sent her a message, and I was like, I would love it if you could come. Do you have the time? And when she said yes, I was like, oh, yay. Because now we can really pick apart the scene. We got the writer there, This would be so nice. Okay, so let's end it. I talk a lot, blah, 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 blah. I wanted to end with the scene with Lucas and the children, because I'm a teacher, and I wanted to talk about that. So, I mean, of course, this is back in the day, so I get it. So when it's a modern show that's on, and I'm watching it, and I'm all sucked into the story, and now they're in school, and they have the teacher walk out of the room to go take a call. Sammy Sue, you be in charge. You'd be fired. There's nobody walking out of the room. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now, nobody was walking out of the room here, but I love that he came and he was able to cover for her. And I was like, oh my God, this is so adorable. This makes sense. And how he just naturally has that gift with kids. And he thought up tossing the ball. I do that as a teacher, but I don't throw a baseball because I break things and hurt kids. But I do throw a beach ball, like a blown up beach ball. And when the kids grab it, they know to answer. And sometimes if your hand goes on a certain color, it can mean something. And I was like, whoever wrote that, if that's John Tinker or not, they were amazing. And I loved how, I love Chris McNally as an actor, how authentic he is, because I'm like that. So you make a rule of you can't answer unless you hold the ball, right? But then sometimes you as the teacher get so excited and you answer for the kids, okay. He did a great job. I was so proud of him.
He did. And he looked like he really enjoyed it.
I mean, I think the actor really enjoyed it. I don't know. He could just be acting.
Being with Elizabeth has really humanized Lucas. He was world traveler, and as Gomer Powell used to call it, suave and debonair. But I think that he is really able to tap into the Lucas within. I'll put it that way, with, you know, decorating giving Christmas to the town. Remember when he did that
Yeah.
that year,
Yeah.
doing the lanterns, doing the balloon for Elizabeth, teaching, being mom for a day to Jack. I just think that she's bringing all this out in him, and he's bringing out in her the spontaneity of
Yeah.
love. You know, just
Yes.
she can't help herself.
No, I
So
like what she
I'm
said.
gonna show him he's not gonna get a real kiss, and it's like, not so much.
I
What
know.
the
And
heck?
then she laughs and walks away. I
Yeah.
love it. And I love that they had to practice that so many times to make it look that way. I mean, I like that. Good for them.
And she just absolutely adores him in anything he does. That's pretty darn obvious.
Cindy, who's a teacher, said she's done it with a Nerf ball. So Cindy, you know, you were loving it too. Peter said Tinker wrote the ball as a way to keep the kids engaged in the show, how great Lucas, and to show how great Lucas is as a teacher. Good. And you know, well, he's a mastermind, John Tinker. He did that was great. The kids loved it. The actors themselves loved it.
Peter, as everyone that you've mentioned, you know, John Tinker wrote this scene, and you wrote, you know, specific scenes and so forth. Is everybody kind of operating on their own, and then you guys all come together, or do you talk first to kind of, you know, outline what the game plan is, and then people fill in the gaps? If you can answer that, if you have time to answer it, I'd love to know how that works.
Okay. While we're waiting to see if he can answer, it says, yes, Roxanne, the episode that Peter wrote with the beautiful last scene with the promises between Lucas and Elizabeth is my all-time favorite. Excellent. It is. It's excellent. It was. And I like what they said to each other in episode, or what he said to her in episode 7, right? Because this is 8.
You are my passion, you're my adventure.
No. What he said, and yes, that was what they were talking about when he had the the bike race. I was talking. I love that one, but I like what he also said last episode, not last night, but the one before that, which would be 7, when she was talking about. Oh, he did answer for you. I'll highlight it and come back to it. Like what his dream was, and this is it. He said, I've done so many different things. Like, he wants to settle in. He wanted to find his true love. Here you are, this one town. I never had that, with one family in the one town, which is adorable, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that he said that to her. So I know he's trying to find his way, maybe another passion or job or whatever. I'm wondering if maybe something does, because Chris had wished that something does happen to the saloon, and he's not sure if he gets the saloon back. Is he more than something else? What would he want to do? I don't know. It also just shows what a great daddy is. But they made him connected with kids right away.
Yep.
Remember?
Allie.
With Allie right away, which I love that. Peter's answering you, Kathy. He says, we talk ahead of time and are given separate assignments. Then after we turn in our draft, John Tinker rewrites every single script.
Okay.
That's it. Sorry. Oh, John Tinker wrote the scenes where Elizabeth and Lucas exchange their promises in my episode. He deserves full credit for the awesome romantic scene. Okay, you're a good man, Peter. Good, honest man. And guess what? I love John Tinker's writing. He's great. Oh gosh. Okay, so we're nearing to the end. They're saying it was epic. So I'm going to show you on my phone and try, instead of throwing myself out and trying to come back in. Sometimes that happens. I'm going to show you okay, ready? Now people get a little testy with me. So let me put my teacher self together here. I'm going to show the picture that I tweeted out. That was the mystery picture. And it was, you know, a big integral part of the scene. I always pick something that was a big part, not the scene, the episode. I keep saying scene. And Kathy's better at it than I am, seeing the timestamp. Now, some people are like, oh, it only goes by, it's delayed because of time zones and whatnot. It's actually not delayed because of time zones. The people are already putting it on there because I'm so long-winded. It's actually not time zones. It's your Wi-Fi in any time zone. So this is the picture, what I tweeted out. And I already put it out, but just for reference, because I don't think Kathy saw it. I was trying to figure out what that is. So who said it? Someone said it already. Let's see. I think if I'm looking, I think it's K Joman, KJOJOMAN. I'm pretty sure that's who it is, right?
Yep, that's what it looks like.
Yes, and you are correct. So yes, when they were taking the pictures and the poof from the smoke of it all.
Yeah, that's the technical term for that.
Is it?
The poof.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So K Joman, my email address. I don't know if you have it. I'll put it in the chat because it's just a general email address. I'm putting it in the chat now. You can email me because then I will be shipping your prize out for you. In case anyone's been wondering, I think I've announced them before, but I try to make it related to something that has to do with the storyline. Like the last time when we were the picture had them kissing, and then there was that whole scene about them, a fall wedding. So I sent a giant keychain that looks like a diamond ring, and it has little things on it. And one time when you're my adventure, I found a pillow because they had a pillow fight, and it had something about an adventure on there. The ice cream one, I sent like your own little ice cream set. I always send something that's kind of related. I have an idea for this one. So
you're going to send her the poof?
Yes. It's just fun. I just think it's so much fun. All righty. She's saying, I don't know. I think I'm assuming, I don't know why I'm saying she, I apologize. Says, thanks, Roxanne. I will. When Mike took the picture of Lee and Rosemary, he had to look away. I know, because it was so bright. I think you need to say go before everyone answers, or type go in the chat. Okay, Valerie, everyone always gives me directions. I know, Kay, you're not on Twitter. I purposefully do it because I want people to be on Twitter and find it. I want you to go to Instagram and find it, and that's why I do it. It's a little gimmick for me. You guys are the best. We are. Well, I have to tell you, I look forward to Monday nights and seeing Kathy just as much as I do to watching the show, because then we get to relive it and dissect it and analyze it with people that don't think we're nuts.
Thank you. I start rambling and I look up and people are looking at me with the side eye, and it's like, okay, I need to stop now because they don't have a clue what I'm talking about.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Yes, I have the diamond ring. Woohoo! And I learned that Deborah is like, she's a Jersey girl. I love it. Tia says, send a bottle of cough syrup. Oh gosh, that's hilarious. You know what? That's just too much. That's funny.
That's actually wagon scene with Joseph and Lucas. Oh, where Lucas was just asking him how Elizabeth had requested that the wagon be set up. I definitely think the book wagon is going to play a role in one of the last few episodes somewhere in there. They don't make references like that and spend that kind of time on it for nothing. So I think there's definitely going to be a reference. Maybe it's connected to the new folks who came to town, the new teacher. Maybe that's the way they'll transport supplies to her, but I don't know. I think it'll play a role. That's my 2 cents.
I do too. I know that someone had informed me, and I haven't seen this. I must have missed it. Either Brian or John said it had something to do maybe possibly with 10, but it's having something to do with not episode 10, but season 10. But it has something to do now. I mean, it is, moving along now. So I don't know. I'm keeping my eye out on it,
Yeah.
Thank you, Peter, for joining us tonight. You make this even more fun. That's from Valerie. Yes, we do appreciate your presence, Peter. And Peter, I don't know if you're still here, but I saw the 21 Jump Street stuff. I saw it. I made a comment and I
asked you not to bring up 21 Jump Street because you know what I do. I start bursting into this into the theme song because I love that show. Who's your MVP this week?
Oh, yes. My MVP is Bill.
Get out of my head, woman.
I can't help it. It's Bill. Like, he was hilarious and sweet and grumpy and had some mystery behind what's going on with him. He was amazing. Bill Jack / Jack. I love it.
He was mine too, for everything you just said, but especially for the popped up scene, because it is not easy to play drunk. It is not easy, and to make it realistic and funny too. Oh my gosh, he did. Yeah, and I love anybody who can make me laugh. So he gets my vote this week too.
People are saying yes, yes. Some people are liking Mike for the MVP, and he did. He was adorable. Like, he did so much. He's coming into his own. I love it. I did ask Ben to be on, but Ben's a busy man. But because like he's like a star. He's a rock star this season. You know,
He just needs to develop a thicker skin. If he's going to be a politician, he can't be, you were mean to me in the newspaper. No, you got to toughen up, dude.
Yeah. You know what? That's true. But then again, it's nice to have a politician that's not jaded. Do you know what I mean?
There's a difference between jaded and thin-skinned.
You're right. You're
he's,
right.
He's sensitive.
Yeah.
You can't be sensitive to criticism.
Okay. You're right. I cried when he was looking out the window as they were around the Christmas tree. I know, Scarlett, it was great. And they gave us a Christmas. Like, that was so much for the fans. Oh, wait. I remember I have said this so many times. I can't put my thumb on the timeline. Something's wrong here. And I kept seeing like little glimpses of Hanukkah and then Thanksgiving. I'm like, what? How is this going on? And we do know that it's going to be soon winter, because in the voiceover, Elizabeth says that. And I was like, no wonder I couldn't figure it out. I knew there was something weird with the timeline, and that's only because of the holiday part and whatnot. So
I wonder if this is all part of the whole pandemic thing, that they had to cut episodes, and so we haven't gotten to see all the special holiday episodes that they might otherwise show. So they decided we'll give them all to them, over a couple of episodes. Brilliant idea. I
know, and it
made like the execution.
And it made for bringing the town together, because that's what we need. Because remember, I said, I feel like there's the big bad coming, and it's going to take them getting together. Like, I always had it in my mind in the summertime, like Lee and Bill and Jack and Lucas and
Hickam.
Henry and Hickam. Yes. All coming up with some kind of plan, some kind of not a conspiracy. I'm wrong with that.
A plan, just a plan to strategy to combat the big bad. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Margie says, thank you, Peter, for your great info. Thanks so much, Roxanne and Kathy, for hosting. Bill, made me laugh, and I adored his April Fool's joke. And who didn't love Jack when he was being photographed? Oh, little Jack. That actor is amazing. The All Holiday was John Tinker's effort to make up. Yes, that's what we were thinking.
Yep.
Yes, they do feed the Hearties. They're good to the Hearties. He listens. He's a good man. Hope Valley Days felt like it was late summer since the fall air was starting to come in. And Janine, I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Karen or Kay. Somebody I was talking to actually mapped it out. She went back, and I'm sorry, I don't mean any disrespect. People send me things all the time, and I might be getting confused. But she's on the name. She mapped it out. She listened to the voiceovers and the clues and what episodes were what part of the year. And like right now is early fall, I guess. And then afterwards, Elizabeth said they were approaching, winter, but we'll see. It was a neat way to display the Hope Valley spirit. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Nikki, you like the ice cream bowls? Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad you got them. All right. All right, everyone. You have a good night, and we will see you next week here on a Monday. But if you tune into my other Hallmark chats tomorrow, I have on Eric. He is Hallmark movie reviewer, and he is going to review A Tale of Love. And I don't know what he's going to say. It's an honest review. Whether he liked it or not doesn't matter, because I liked it. You know me. I'll be there listening and talking with him. That's tomorrow. And then Thursday, I have a guest coming on, but I can't say yet who it is because I have to make sure it's totally confirmed. And I think it is. So it's a movie coming up. for Hallmark. All right. Thank you, everyone. You have a good week.
Have a good week. We'll see you next Monday.
Bye.
Thanks a lot for being here, Peter.
Yes. Thank you so much, Peter. All right. I'm going to end right here.